Hi everybody and welcome back. So, welcome to my latest Vintage to Now Star Wars review. And we're going to be talking about the big battle. That's right, Darth Vader versus Obi Wan. And here is a really cool silver anniversary, 1977 to 2002, Obi Wan versus Darth Vader kind of battle pack, but more of a display piece. Just one of my favorite things in my collection. You can see the Millennium Falcon behind them, and these two figures that are pretty much scene specific. You just want to kind of keep them in this case on a nice platform, battling. So it was an exciting battle in Episode 4. Although compared to lightsaber battles in the later movies, maybe a little geriatric. And I want to show you a selection of Obi-Wan's and Vader's over the years, and the most recent one. And I also want to show you Obi-Wan and Vader from 1977. So we can kind of look at how they have changed and evolved over the years. And one other thing I want to do in this video is have a quick discussion on whether or not you should start collecting vintage and some ways to do it economically. So, let's begin. Okay, let's just start with these cool 1977 figures. These are part of the so-called original 12. As you can see, they came with a nice vinyl capes. You can see how they're on there. And their lightsabers are cool because they have the telescoping lightsabers. There's a little kind of lever, and when you would push that lever, the lightsaber would extend. And you want to be very careful with these if you happen to have any, because a lot of them didn't last very long. Here's Obi-Wan's. He has his fully extended, which isn't very much. So it didn't make for a super exciting lightsaber battle between these figures. Because it's just, they're only going to go straight. There's not a lot of those cool Darth Maul moves that you can do. You might notice that these are very basic figures. I mean, take a look at this Darth Vader, and now look at him next to this 2010 Darth Vader. Whoa, whose helmet doesn't want to stay on. Some of you probably have this and probably have the same issues with the helmet falling off. But look at how much more detailed he's gotten over the years. He didn't even have the codpiece in the original one. He was just wearing sort of like skin-tight outfit. He had the same kind of belt, the same panel here, and he had the shoulder plate. Boots were kind of similar. And the face was similar, but different. Much different. He didn't have the little vent under his chin there. And it was still a pretty good figure. And boy, we were excited to get it back back in the day. Now, looking at the 2010 Vader, oh boy, what a nice figure that is. A nice lightsaber, all kinds of articulation, cloth where it needs to be, a helmet that you can remove in two pieces, so you can get a look at his face, which is just a great detail, a detail we never would have imagined back then. Looking at the Obi-Wan, he's sort of flat, kind of square-shaped. As you can see, very literally square-shaped in a lot of places. The face wasn't so bad, if you can see that. There was two variants. There was a white-haired one and a gray-haired one, and I have the gray-haired one here. There would have been ears, but they just decided to paint over them. Now here's some more recent Obi-Wans. Here's the Power of the Force Obi-Wan. I think I showed you in a previous review, which he had the clever little removable get up here. And then this is a little bit more of a recent late 90s Obi-Wan, where he had a Luke's lightsaber could be attached to his belt. And slightly better face, slightly better lightsaber, slightly better articulation. So, I don't really know the articulation in these figures right here. I can speculate that they're not all that good, being that these are mostly for display. And I wanted to show you this Darth, which was an old, the one that came with the coin. Was that the Legacy Collection? There's the coin right there. And what the cool feature was, his stand was also Obi Wan's cloak that has a peg for his foot. But as you can see, Obi Wan's lightsaber is on it, and it's the scene where Vader's stepping on the cloak. So this is obviously one of my favorite figures. Almost as good as the 2010, in my opinion. Not quite as good. I believe he does have a removable helmet. Yep. However, the helmet only comes off in one piece. So, the face isn't quite as good either. So, let's pop his head back on. So, Darth Vader over the ages definitely has changed. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about is collecting vintage. So, say you want to have a collection of these old classic figures and you want them to look good like this. There's two ways you can do it. The first way is you can pay a lot of money and be a purist and buy only original pieces. Now let me show you a Darth Vader with completely original pieces. In fact, let me get a better background so we can see this in more detail. Okay. This Darth Vader and this Darth Vader. One has completely original cape and lightsaber, and the other one has reproductions. So, it takes kind of a trained eye to tell the difference, but the original lightsaber is paler, a little bit more orange, whereas reproductions can vary, but this one's a little bit more of a deep red. Shinier, and it's more brittle because this is mostly for decoration. As you can see, this is a little bit more flexible. Of course, you don't want to play with it too much because these things didn't last for a while. The cape is torn. It's not quite as shiny. I'll be honest with you, most of these capes and lightsabers originals did not make it past the 70s. They were one of the first things to break when we got these figures. So, if you want to start collecting vintage, and if you want to get nothing but original pieces that are serviceable, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Have a good looking collection and not pay a lot of money, just consider getting reproductions of capes, lightsabers, weapons, and so forth. Buy your figures on Etsy or eBay or even Amazon. And don't worry about getting figures with accessories. Pay more attention to how clean they are, and make sure that they have all of their limbs. Make sure that their paint is on pretty well, that it hasn't chipped off. Make sure there's no notches or taken out or cigarette burns on them or anything. And then take your time finding accessories. You should never pay more than 99 cents to $1 for any weapon or lightsaber or cape. In fact, $2 tops if it's something really special. But don't pay $14 for a 1980s lightsaber unless you're prepared to spend a fortune on building a purist vintage collection. So that's my advice. If you want to have a nice looking collection, you know, just you have two routes. One costs a whole lot less than the other. And anyway, you know, just it takes a real trained eye to tell the difference anyway. So my advice is just buy reproductions. Save your money. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.